You're live.
Good morning, everybody. This is Facebook Live. I'm Terry Crosby, Community Ambassador for the Taylor Automotive family. You know, I just want to say before we kick off, I am really excited that we're able to bring so many outstanding community leaders into our Taylor studios. This is going to be happening pretty much every Wednesday when we can do it, and we will be live at 10:30 a.m. But this morning, I have to say to you guys, this morning, I am so honored to have an outstanding young man in our Taylor studios, Dr. Anthony Pattin. What's going on, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful morning.
It sure is, man. So just kick it off, Dr. Pattin. I want to ask you, before we start, I think most people know that you are the owner of Junction Pharmacy.
Yeah.
That's where you presently are right now. But there was a long journey to get there, right?
That's true.
And you are a proud Toledoan, 409, baby, proud Toledoan.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to kick this off just you explaining to us, where did it all start for you?
Sure. Thank you for asking. I would say I am the owner of Junction Family Pharmacy. We're at 1339 Dorr Street. And it's really full circle for me. I'm a pharmacist, as well as a business owner now. And I started working in an independent pharmacy owned locally when I was in high school. I was 17 years old. So now to have started then all the way now to own my pharmacy, it's been like 20 some years now. I'm just really excited to be serving my community in this way. I am a native Toledoan. I grew up in North Toledo, actually. Went to Leverett Junior High.
Oh, you're a Northside boy.
I am. Grew up, born and raised in Toledo. And for high school, I went to Central Catholic. And I'm actually really grateful. I've always done well in school. So
Right.
I had really good grades in junior high. And I had mentors there say, hey, you're a great student. I think you should go to Central Catholic.
Right.
And Mr. Cleves Delp actually gave me scholarships, as well as other scholarships I was able to get at that time to go to Central Catholic. So that was such a blessing for me. It helped really set me up for success for my education in college. So I went to Central Catholic. Back then, I was into music. They did ask me to play football. We know about their football team.
Right.
And I said, I'm just going to stick with music. I played cello, so that's sort of.
Oh, you played the cello?
I played cello.
Okay.
So did that for many years, but graduated from Central Catholic and decided to go to pharmacy school. I actually went to pharmacy camp, and I learned about it. Pharmacy camp was sponsored by Walgreens at that time. And it just seemed like a great way to serve people with their medications and their health.
Yes.
So I enrolled in University of Toledo in the Doctor of Pharmacy program, 7-year rigorous program.
So you went to the University of Toledo. Congratulations.
University of Toledo.
Okay.
Got my Bachelor of Science as well as Doctor of Pharmacy degree. That's a degree you have to have these days to become a licensed pharmacist.
Oh, okay.
So I graduated from University of Toledo, and then I also did additional training. I actually did a community pharmacy residency. I did a residency with the University of Toledo and Kroger Pharmacy. And that actually gave me some of the business background of pharmacy, as well as a little more clinical experience to be able to help patients in a more advanced setting.
Right.
So I did that. And
how many years did it take you to complete that?
To do all of that, it took 7 years.
Whoa.
And I think I only had one summer off. So
you put the work in, right?
You have no choice to put the work in, all the late nights and exams.
Right.
But my education at Central Catholic, as well as my junior high, I went to Toledo Public Schools, prepared me.
Right.
So I graduated, and believe it or not, I was 24 years old, and I started working at the university. because I had all these credentials. And so I started at Wayne State University, which they're very special to me. It was my first position out of college. And actually, I'm looking to go back there to be an adjunct faculty.
Nice.
So I was in academia for 15 years. So I was at Wayne State University. And I came back home at University of Toledo in 2015. I actually was on tenure track. So I became a tenure professor. I gained tenured in 2021. So worked really tough and hard for that. And then I got recruited off to Buffalo, New York. So people have been watching me. I got a phone call saying, hey, why don't you come to Buffalo? And I'm like, why not? I've always been open to opportunities, Mr. Crosby. So I'm like, I'm going to go for it. So I moved to Buffalo, New York. And again, I had been working in academia, and I had always worked like in Rite Aid. I worked at Meyer Pharmacy, just part-time. I always loved to stay in pharmacy. But in the university, you're impacting students. You're working with students, the next generation. And many of the students liked me. Maybe a few students didn't like me. They got their exams back. They didn't like me, but most of my students liked me, and that's a way to have an impact on the community too, because you're inspiring them to help their communities. So that was my major way of impact. But when I went to Buffalo, New York, I actually worked with a gentleman, Steve Giroux. He owns 7 pharmacies.
Wow.
And when I worked with him and I got back into the pharmacy environment, back into the independent setting, which again, I worked there when I was 17, 18. It was just like, oh my gosh, I haven't been in this setting in so long. Steve Giroux, he is so passionate about community pharmacy. He's had his pharmacy since the early 80s. So you can imagine he's really just impactful and persuasive. And so working with him, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to quit my job and open a pharmacy. I don't think I had any choice if you talk to Mr. Giroux. So I decided to come back home to Toledo because at that time, the Rite Aid was closing. And we saw all of that in the paper. And Rite Aid was a major pharmacy in the Toledo metropolitan area.
And before you get into that, I just want to elaborate a little bit on the fact that you and I have known each other for many years now, maybe 15, 20 years. And when I first met you, you will probably recall this, Dr. Pattin. I said to you, I pulled you to one side. I said, you're going to be that person. And you was like, what do you mean? I said, whatever you want to do in life, you're going to be able to achieve that. And I knew you were into medicine. I knew at the time that, you were studying to be a pharmacist, And I'm just so proud of you now from the conversation that we shared so many years ago, that everything we thought you would be has come to fruition.
Well, I appreciate that.
It really has.
I'm the kind of guy, I don't like to be in front of the camera. I like to help patients. And, I was in the Toledo Excel program. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yes, I am.
Toledo Excel started by Dr. Helen Cooks. And she calls me the silent soldier because I'll do things behind the scenes or, maybe I'll write my letters or, but I usually am not the one to be in the forefront or to toot my own horn. That's really not me.
I'm tooting it for you.
But I know you have to do these things. And you have to get your message out there. So I know you have to. But I like to be behind the counter. I like to be helping my patients. I know my patients one-on-one. I know their names. I know their medications. And they become like family to me. So when they come in the door, so that's what I like to do.
And now you are the owner of Junction Pharmacy. And so I want you to express to our viewers, how does that make you feel? And I believe you may be one of the few Black owners, pharmacy owners here in our city of Toledo. Is that correct?
That is correct. So we're a black-owned pharmacy.
Right.
We're the only pharmacy in this area. But in the community where I serve, there were 2 Rite Aid locations that closed.
Right.
So that left a big hole, big gap. So we were more of a backfill to open up in that community so that they would have a place to go. Particularly in that community, many people don't drive; they walk.
Right.
So there's strip malls there, and we offer services to help accommodate them. We do free medication delivery. We do adherence packing. We meet people where they are. I offer my own discounts to patients, so they ask about the different, GoodRx and those cards. I don't accept those cards because if I can buy medications at a good price, I can pass that on to my patients. Or there have been a few times where, someone loses their insurance and I say, you know what, for this month, I'm not going to charge you for this medication.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And let them get themselves together.
Right.
They may be looking for a new job. So I think for me to be able to have that impact, because this is directly helping people in their health,
Absolutely.
It's much different impact than teaching at the university.
Right.
Not to say that one is more important than the other.
Right.
But I can see directly where my efforts, how it's helping the community.
Yeah, and I can share this with everybody. You actually supply my medication that I need. There are very few that I need, and I am so grateful for that, because I was once with Myers getting my prescription, and I don't take a lot of medicine, but I do take some, because as you get older, things happen, and I switched from there. Then I went over to Kroger's, and then we had a conversation, and I was like, you know what? I have to come with you, and I tell you why. Just let me share this real quick, because you gave me such a feeling of this is family. You know what I mean? You really, really did. You made me feel welcome. I was comfortable, and everything that I required in regards to medication, you were able to provide me, and at a good cost. So, because I had to consider how much.
That's true. Well, and for most people, they have insurance. They have prescription insurance, so they can go wherever they want.
Right.
So the biggest difference is customer service.
Right.
And that's where I try to exceed, not only making you comfortable in my pharmacy, but people are impressed that I remember who they are. But that's because when I had students in the class, I had to remember who they were.
Right.
Especially if they were back there not paying attention, I would call on them.
Right.
So I remember,
And it's so personal when people can walk through the doors of your pharmacy and you remember them by their name.
Yeah, I remember their name.
That's
and
impressive.
Their medication. So people are really impressed with that.
Right.
But being that backfill for that community, it was really needed.
Right.
So I went to New York. I thought about opening the pharmacy. And then when the news came out, all of a sudden, maybe a month, that they're going to close Rite Aid.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I have to really decide, am I going to do this now? I was thinking maybe 2 years from now.
Right.
I wasn't really in a rush for anything, especially since I just moved to Buffalo, New York.
Right.
But I moved out there, and within a year, I was back here operating Junction Family Pharmacy. So that's what I really enjoy, helping people, especially when they're in a time of need.
Yes.
Also, just helping people, explaining what their medications are for. For example,
and you deliver.
I deliver, yes.
Yes.
I deliver.
That is so personal. You know what I mean? It really, really is. I'm just amazed with that service.
Absolutely. For example, I had someone last night. I got prescriptions in really late in the early evening, and a parent of 3 or 4 children with all these medications, and so by the time they were able to get settled at home, we could deliver their medications there rather than having to come to a busy pharmacy and wait.
Right.
So that's the kind of service we do, and I being the owner, I can really make the decision to help people where they are. There's one gentleman with MS, so he needs his medications so he can move around.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure out his medication. He couldn't figure out his insurance. I didn't know who this guy was.
Right.
And the medication really cost maybe $1,000 or $2,000. Well, believe it or not, I was able to locate this medication for $20. So I was able to do some shopping, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to give you this medication, and we'll figure out the insurance stuff
That's
later.
beautiful.
And we figured it out. It took 2 months.
Right.
But you know, I said, we'll work on it because the important thing is for you to have your medication.
Right. And how long have you been going now? I think you've been open, just over?
We've been open a year.
Over a year now,
Yeah.
yes.
I opened December 17th, 2024 is when I opened the doors. And that was on a Tuesday, Mr. Crosby, because I was able to open on Monday, but I was too scared. So I waited an extra day, and I said, well, it is Tuesday. I suppose I should turn the open sign on. So I did. So we opened, but prior to that, it takes about 6 months to open a pharmacy with all the regulatory and inspections by the DEA and the pharmacy. Pharmacy is highly regulated, so that's the part I used to teach. I taught pharmacy law.
Right. Because you're dealing with people's lives.
You're dealing with people's lives. You're dealing with controlled substances. And so there's state laws, federal laws, all the things we need to abide by. So it took 6 months. So I started really the summer of 2024. I went to a pharmacy ownership workshop. I went to New Orleans, and it was a 2-day workshop. Right. And I said, I'm gonna try it. So I think about it myself, like I quit my job. I quit my job and opened the business. And you hear this so much. But now we're successful. We have patients. And
you're growing.
We're growing.
You're growing.
And the biggest thing is we haven't lost people because people will transfer in, transfer out.
Right.
So we've retained people. You look at our Google page, we have really great reviews.
Absolutely.
And so no, we're doing really well. I have not lost really many people at all. So that's a good thing. So once they come to me, they stay with me.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Customer service.
Yes, only thing is people, they know my car. So sometimes if I'm not, like this morning, I have my other pharmacist, Marcus, is there. Right. So they'll just drive by and say, oh, we're going to wait till Anthony's there. I'm like, well, I have staff that can help you.
Right, Well, that's the trust element. That's what that, not that they don't trust your other staff, it's just that they want to see you.
They want to talk to me.
You know, I mean, I often say, like, we do a assortment of different things in the community, and I'm always there. I'm present, or Tom's there, or Jones there, or Mary Helen's there. But really, the people want to see Steve Taylor, from time to time. And so it's the same thing with you.
I get it.
You know, they want to see Dr. Anthony Pattin.
They want to see me, so.
But you know what? I'm so proud of you. I really am.
Thank you.
It was an honor to really have you in our studios today. In closing, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
Sure. If you're an individual, if you're looking for a pharmacy, or you're just having some difficulty with your current pharmacy, we deliver all over. I have some patients in Perrysburg and Maumee.
White House. Yes.
I want to say White House.
Okay.
But we have patients all over. Yes. And so, like I said, I work to meet with people individually. So give me a call. My pharmacy phone number is 419-757-8500. My website is www.junctionrx.com. And if I can help you, I certainly will do that.
All right, brother.
All right.
Such a pleasure having you in this one.
Thanks for
having me. All right, check us out. Pretty much every Wednesday, we'll be doing this Facebook Live where we honor bringing our community leaders in. See y'all next week.